This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN.Network, and we're a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit Beaver Creek being held virtually this year. Joining me right now is Akiba Leisemen. He is the CEO of Mako Mining Corp. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you, MKO on the TSX Venture and MAKOF on the OTCQB. Akiba, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
Pretty good. All right, thanks, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you. So we actually did an interview at last year's Precious Metals Summit. So before we get into that update, can you just provide a very quick overview and history of who Mako is?
Sure. So Mako is doing what we like to describe as three things in northern Nicaragua. First and foremost, we are in the middle of building what will be the world's highest grade open pit only mine. We're about 80% done building this 500 ton per day facility. We'll have first gold pour in January of next calendar year and commercial production in early Q2 of next year. Secondarily, we're exploring a new discovery a few kilometers south of our primary mine, such that we'll be in a position to mine at 1,000 tons a day, so twice the level of production in late 2022. And thirdly, we do think that we're sitting in the middle of an orogenic gold mining camp. And only recently have we been putting out some reconnaissance exploration results that are demonstrating just how much potential we have on our 200 square kilometer land package.
So you actually already alluded to my next question a little bit, but let's get into that update. Can you provide some corporate highlights, let's say from the last, approximately 12 months?
Sure. So it was right after, right prior to the Beaver Creek conference of last year, we initiated the construction of the primary 500 ton per day mine. So it was about a month after we closed a US $20 million rights offering that was backstopped by the controlling shareholder, a private equity group out of Connecticut and Florida named Wexford Capital. They backstopped a US $20 million equity rights issuance. They additionally put in a $15 million unsecured credit facility in February of this year. And then finally, we did a net US $20 million equity financing, which is more than sufficient to finish building the mine, as a combination of an equity deal that went to Wexford Capital, as well as an underwritten bought deal through an investment bank named Stifel Financial, as well as some co-participants in that transaction.
All right, so you guys got the financing in place. For those who may not be too familiar with the current geopolitical situation in Nicaragua, can you provide an update on that as well?
Sure. So Nicaragua is a safe and I would posit a mining-friendly jurisdiction. We've actually had some wonderful support from the Nicaraguan government. They have been hard hit by the global pandemic. So for all intents and purposes, it is very difficult to get personnel in and out of the country. So we are ecstatic about where the project schedule sits. In fact, we started commissioning the construction of our 500 ton per day mine towards the end of last year. So we got hit by the pandemic right in the middle of our construction schedule. In aggregate, our project has been delayed by 4 months since our update last year over at Beaver Creek. And frankly, I think that was yeoman's effort by our operating team, as well as the local people in Nicaragua, to keep our project schedule to only a 4-month delay, given what the facts on the ground were in Nicaragua due to the COVID situation there.
Got it. And, you actually also alluded to my next question a little bit earlier, but I figure we get a nice wrap here. What from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's value catalysts now for the rest of this year going into 2021?
Yeah, so we're in the middle of building this mine. We've actually started to mine the high grade mine. So over the course of the next couple months, I'm going to be putting out actual mining data that will demonstrate that this is indeed the world's highest grade open pit only mine in the world. But of the three main objectives that we have over at Mako, I actually think the mine that we're building, this 500 ton per day facility, is the least important of the three. This discovery that we've made a few kilometers to the south of San Albino does have the potential to be 3 to 5 times the size of what we're mining right now. And then the results that we're putting out from a regional reconnaissance perspective are showing double-digit grades over the course of a multi-kilometer. In fact, we've now scoped out over a 9-kilometer trend on this property. So if we are able to demonstrate that not only are we going to be mining the world's highest grade open pit only mine, and demonstrate that we have the capacity to double production by 2022, and demonstrate that we are sitting in the middle of an orogenic gold mining camp that could potentially house many millions of ounces worth of gold.
One last question I have to ask, are there any other major mining companies in Nicaragua? Are there other projects ongoing, or is Mako on its own?
So it was right around the time of last year's Beaver Creek conference that B2 Mining vended off their Nicaraguan operations to a publicly traded company that's called Calibre. So they have been mining the two mines, El Limón and La Libertad, and doing a fantastic job over there. There is a Colombian group named Mineros that own the Bonanza mine as well as the Hemco artisanal reprocessing center a few hours to the east of where we operate. So Nicaragua does have a fairly substantial gold mining industry for the size of its GDP. In fact, gold is probably its #1 export, but that probably has more to do with the fact that exports are not all that big in Nicaragua. So there are, I believe, 250 to 300,000 ounces of gold production in the country. So our mine, even though it is relatively small by global size, will be important to the Nicaraguan economy and certainly the Nicaraguan gold producing community.
And with that, where can my audience go and find everything they need to know about Mako Mining?
So we do have a website, MakoMiningCorp.com. We do give out frequent news releases. Feel free to sign up for our mailing list in that regard. I do give frequent interviews as well. So we're fairly open when it comes to shareholder communications.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Stay safe, good luck, and look forward to our next update.
All right, great. Appreciate it, Robert.
Thank you. Again, my name is Robert Kraft. I'm your host on SNN.Network. We're a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit, Beaver Creek, happening virtually this year. Akiba will be there, and I thank you all for listening today.
All right. Thank you. Take care.